We're used to seeing Earth like this, a blue and green sphere suspended in the vast blackness of space, cloud patterns swirling like strokes of white paint across a canvas. It's a familiar sight, comforting in its consistency. Almost every time we see it, it's from the same angle, the same type of camera, the same distance. Whether it's from the International Space Station, a low-orbit satellite, or a high-altitude weather balloon, the view is always close, just a few hundred kilometers up. But what if I told you this isn't the full picture? What if our planet looks completely different when seen from across the solar system, or even beyond? Today, I want to take you on a journey most people will never take physically, but one we can all experience through the eyes of our robotic explorers. We're going to look back at Earth, but not from space shuttles or near-Earth orbit. Instead, we'll see our home through the lens of distant spacecraft, billions of kilometers away. We'll observe Earth from the dusty surface of Mars, the icy rings of Saturn, and even from the farthest edges of our solar system. Each image offers not just a view but a new perspective, a moment of clarity about who we are and where we fit in this vast, mysterious universe. You may wonder, why does this matter? Why look back at Earth when so many exciting discoveries lie ahead? The reason is simple. Distance changes perception. When you see Earth from so far away that borders vanish, cities disappear, and even continents blur together, you start to understand just how connected we all are. There are no walls, no wars, no divisions, only one fragile sphere floating in an endless black sea. That tiny dot contains all of humanity, all of history, every person you've ever known, every dream ever dreamt. And that is deeply humbling. Let's go back in time to one of the most powerful moments in space exploration. On December 24, 1968, 3 astronauts aboard Apollo 8 became the first humans to orbit the Moon. As they emerged from the dark far side of the Moon, astronaut Bill Anders looked out the window and saw something no human had seen before: Earth rising above the lunar horizon. It was a sight so profound, so unexpected, that he instinctively grabbed the camera and took a photo. That image became known as Earthrise. It captured our planet, glowing blue and white, suspended in darkness, alone, vulnerable, beautiful. This single photograph would go on to change the world. It wasn't just a technical marvel, it was a cultural moment. It reminded people that Earth is not just land and oceans, but a fragile oasis in an otherwise hostile universe. It sparked the modern environmental movement and helped inspire the first Earth Day in 1970. Suddenly, people started to see the planet not just as home, but as something that needed protection. When you see Earth from 384,000 kilometers away, you understand that we're all in this together, sharing one lifeboat, drifting through a vast cosmic sea. But our story doesn't end there. In 2017, the OSIRIS-REx spacecraft was on a mission to collect samples from an asteroid named Benu. After launching from Earth, the spacecraft eventually reached a distance of about 1.3 million kilometers, roughly 3 times the distance between Earth and the Moon. At that moment, it turned its camera back toward home for one final glance. What it captured was extraordinary. Earth appeared as a small glowing orb, accompanied by an even tinier dot, our Moon. They looked like 2 lonely travelers in an endless void. That image did more than just show distance, it showed scale. The space between Earth and the Moon is vast enough to fit all the other planets lined up side by side. And yet, from this far, they're reduced to glowing dots. This single picture reminds us how quickly the world fades from view once we leave it behind. It's a staggering thought. Everything we've built, everything we've known, all reduced to 2 specks of light in a sea of black. Yet those specks contain all of human history, all our knowledge, all our future. Now let's travel further still, to Mars. Our next-door neighbor in the solar system, but even it lies 228 million kilometers away on average. From this distance, Earth is little more than a star in the night sky. Several missions have captured this sight. One particularly moving image came from the European Space Agency's Mars Express orbiter. In May 2023, it looked back toward Earth and snapped a brief video sequence, just 4 frames stitched together, but what it revealed was profound. Earth and the Moon could be seen orbiting each other in graceful motion, gliding through the blackness. The video wasn't just beautiful, it was poetic. Watching the Earth and Moon dance across space reminded us that our planet isn't stationary. It's always moving, always alive. From Mars, this celestial waltz is silent, but its impact echoes loudly. Earth appears small, distant, almost fragile, yet it carries the weight of all human ambition. Every skyscraper, every forest, every memory is packed into that glowing speck. And when you see it in motion, you feel how delicate and temporary everything really is. It makes you want to hold on to it a little tighter. Let's shift our gaze to the Martian surface. Here things look even more alien. The rovers we've sent, Spirit, Curiosity, Perseverance, have not only explored Mars but occasionally looked back at their birthplace. In one haunting image captured by the Curiosity rover in September 2024, Earth is seen as a tiny blue dot in the evening sky of Mars. To the left, a dark shape appears to be climbing, Mars' moon Phobos. The image was titled Earth Setting, Phobos Rising, and it's easy to see why. The scene could be mistaken for a painting. But it's real. That single photo tells a cosmic story. Earth, from the ground of another planet, is no longer the center of everything. It becomes a distant world. And in that moment you, the viewer, become the alien. You're looking back at home from a place no human has ever stood. The moment feels surreal, almost spiritual. It's as if Earth is just one more light in the sky, and we are wanderers trying to remember where we came from. It's humbling. It's grounding. And it's beautiful beyond words. Let's venture out now to the gas giants, specifically Saturn. In 2013, NASA's Cassini spacecraft was orbiting Saturn at an incredible distance of about 1.44 billion kilometers. It was assigned to capture detailed images of Saturn and its rings, but one day, it turned its camera toward Earth. The result was a photograph called "The Day the Earth Smiled." In the foreground, Saturn's majestic rings spanned the frame, icy, shadowed, elegant. But in the corner, barely noticeable unless pointed out, was a single speck of blue light. That tiny dot was Earth. What made this moment even more special was that NASA had announced it in advance. People around the world were told to look up and smile at the sky as the photo was being taken. Millions did. And now, that joy, that shared human moment, is forever captured in an image taken from nearly 1.5 billion kilometers away. Imagine that. Millions of humans looking up, knowing they're being photographed from a place they'll likely never visit. That tiny blue dot carried so much laughter, hope, and unity, if only for a brief moment in time. Now for the most distant image ever taken of Earth, one that redefined how we see ourselves forever. In February 1990, NASA's Voyager 1 spacecraft had already completed its grand tour of the outer planets. It was about 6 billion kilometers from Earth, speeding out of the solar system. Engineers gave it one final task, to turn around and take a family portrait of the planets. It did. And in one frame, caught within a scattered sunbeam, was Earth. A pale blue dot just 0.12 pixels wide. Nearly invisible. Yet unmistakably us. That photograph became known as the pale blue dot. Astronomer Carl Sagan, who had suggested taking the image, later reflected on its meaning. He said, "That's here. That's home. That's us. Every king and every peasant. Every teacher and student. Every war and every peace. Every family, every tear, every smile, all of it on a tiny speck in the void. It's not just a picture. It's a mirror. It reflects back the truth of our existence, how small, how fragile, how rare we really are. It forces us to confront what it means to be human. Across every one of these images, whether from the Moon, Mars, Saturn, or beyond, one undeniable truth emerges. The farther we travel, the smaller Earth appears. But don't confuse smallness with insignificance. Because within that tiny blue dot lies something extraordinary. Us. Out of 4 billion years of Earth's history, we are the first species to build the tools to leave it, to look back, and to understand. We are the first to send machines across oceans of darkness for no other reason than curiosity, and then use them to find ourselves. In this vast and endless cosmos, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to feel lost. But maybe, just maybe, we are something more. Maybe we are the universe becoming aware of itself. A fragile form of life on a fragile world, daring to ask the most impossible questions and reaching for answers written in starlight. We may be small, but we are also rare. And rarity has value. We may be temporary, but that makes our time here all the more precious. And if nothing else, these distant images remind us that this world, this little blue dot, is all we've got. So the next time you step outside and look up at the stars, remember this: you are standing on a miracle. A world full of color, life, and dreams. A world that has been seen from unimaginable distances. A world that smiles back when we look at it from afar. Earth may be small, but it's home. And as far as we know, there's nowhere else quite like it.